Students, the poem that we are going to discuss today is A Tiger in the Zoo, written by Leslie Norris. This poem explains the agony and helplessness of a caged tiger that lives in a zoo. The poet explains what his life could be if he had been a free animal. The poet has tried to explain about the condition of animals that are caged by human beings for their own fun. Now let's look at the first stanza of the poem. He stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. Stalks means follows, vivid means bright colored, pads are the paws of a tiger, and rage means anger. Here the poet says that the tiger is confined in the zoo. It moves around in the cage under his bright colored skin. He further says that the tiger can take only a few steps because the cage is small and it is not easy to move in it. One cannot hear his footsteps because he has very soft feet like velvet, because of which there is no sound of the tiger's footsteps. The tiger tries to control his anger by quietly walking in the limited area of his cage. He is angry because he is not free. The rhyming scheme of this stanza is A, B, C, B, and the poet has also used another literary device, that is personification, because the poet has addressed the tiger as he. Look at the first line. In the first line, the poet says he stalks. Then another literary device that has been used is enjambment. Enjambment means a sentence which is continuing to the next line without any punctuation mark. You can see in line number 1, no punctuation mark has been used after stripes, and it continues to the second line also. And the next literary device that has been used is oxymoron, which means use of adjectives opposite in meaning, and that is quiet rage. Now look at the next stanza. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass, near the water hole where plump deer pass. Lurking means to be hidden as to wait for prey, and sliding means moving smoothly. Plump means fat. The poet says that if this tiger was free, he would have hid himself behind the long grass near the water bodies so that he could easily catch a deer in order to have it as its food. Children, do you know that in the forest the tiger has to find its own food, and for that it hunts the animals. But in the zoo takers, they provide food to the tiger. Basically, the poet wants to say that the actual life of a tiger is to live in jungle where he could catch his prey and eat it, but the tiger in the cage cannot do so. Again, the rhyming scheme is same, that is A, B, C, B. Enjambment is also used over here. Here we can also see alliteration, that is use of sound of P at the start of two words, that is plump, pass. Imagery is also used here. The poet has tried to create an image of tiger's activities. Example, lurking in shadow. Now the next stanza. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws terrorizing the village. Snarling means warning sounds made by animals. Baring means uncovered. Fangs are sharp tooth of animals. So the poet says that if the tiger would have been free, he would have snarled around the houses located at the outskirts of the forest. He would terrorize people with his sharp tooth and claws. This would create fear among the people living in the villages. The rhyming scheme is same, A, B, C, B. Enjambment is also there. There is another literary device that has been used in this stanza, it is onomatopoeia, which is using words which denote sounds, and the word which denotes sound in this stanza is snarling. Let's move on to the next stanza. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. Concrete means building made of bricks, cement, sand, and water. And strength behind bars means as the tiger is behind the cage, he cannot show its strength, that is it is strong. Stalking means walking in a stiff proud manner, and ignoring means not taking any notice. Now the poet comes to the reality of the tiger, that is inside the cage. He says that the tiger is confined in a strong cell which is made of strong building material. He further says that as the tiger is behind the bars, so his ferociousness is also behind the bars. He just talks in the cage. He never tries to terrorize the visitors because his power is restricted and he cannot attack them. Again, the rhyming scheme in this paragraph stanza is same A, B, C, B. Again, look at second line and even the first line also. The poet has used personification, personified the tiger by using the words he, is and his. Alliteration is there in the words concrete, cell or behind bars, BB and CC. Now the last stanza. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Patrolling means to guard, to vigil. And stares means looks fixedly with eyes wide open. Brilliant means very bright and radiant. Now the poet says that in the night the tiger hears the sounds of the patrolling cars that move in the police vehicles that move in the zoo just to check whether any cage is left open or not. So in the night the tiger hears the sounds of these cars. He then stares at the shining stars with his shining eyes. The poet wants to say that the tiger is sad and as he is confined in this cage, so he cannot do anything. Therefore, he stares at the stars in the night and tries to divert his thoughts towards them. Again, students, the rhyming scheme of the complete poem is A, B, C, B, and of this stanza also A, B, C, B. And enjambment is there. Line 3 continues to line 4 without any punctuation mark, and alliteration is also there, that is the use of sound H in he hears. So that's all for today.